Welcome to the Bull, the Bear, and the Ugly podcast, your no-nonsense guide to the markets. Whether you're watching us live at sktrading.live or listening on your favorite podcast platform, we've got you covered. Subscribe, join the community, and get ready to dive into real talk and real market insights. Let's get started.
Welcome to the Bull, the Bear, and the Ugly. Well, it was a really quiet day here. Overnight, the S&P futures hit a high of 65.08 3/4, and we saw a lot of selling here, especially in the Russell 2000. We saw the Russell reversed here. We saw Tesla reversed to sell here. Palantir reversed to sell here. There was a couple stocks here that really were very active today. The spiders reversed to buy on the 15-minute time frame. The NASDAQ futures really didn't act well, especially once the 30-minute time frames reversed to sell. We got that really great short pattern on the 15-minute time frame. The NASDAQ dropped 50, the Qs dropped $2. So really great pattern there. Overall, it was a very slow day here, beyond slow. Friday in summer and August, well, guess what? It was just an unbelievable day. UNH bucking the trend here, up over 32, printed as high as 310. Reports that Warren Buffett took a pretty big stake in UNH. And so basically that propped the stock up and also pushed the Dow up, but the Dow ended up being unchanged. S&P futures down 25. I still think between now and the end of October, we're going to get cabooshed here. All right, so let me show you some patterns. It's really going to be rather quick podcast here tonight because you know what? Bottom line, there really wasn't a lot going on except maybe 5 or 7 stocks here. Let's get right to it. Here's Tesla here. Okay, where you can see we're already in a negative trend on the 60-minute time frame. And then here's the 30-minute here. Beautiful short on Tesla. Now, this was Tesla this morning on the gap up on the opening. We had said we'd be looking for shorts in Tesla when it was going to gap up. And boy, oh boy, did the community really get short. Tesla pushed up here. You can see the negative MACD on the 60. You can see the negative MACD on the 5. You can see the new highs and the MACDs non-confirming. These are big sell divergences in a negative trend. Okay. And then what do you look to do here? The 15s were negative here as well. You can see right here the pushing up. So what do you look to do? We had a really great short here on Tesla off the 60-minute, but this was a real great short right here on the 15. 331, beautiful bear flag here. You can see how Tesla really got cabooshed here. Dropped about dropped more than about $3.50 here. If you count the short here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bars beautifully. Even if you counted it here, you still caught more than 2 points here in Tesla. So again, really great pattern in Tesla. On the short, in the negative trend, the 60-minute time frame, you can see the negative MACDs, the 15 getting overbought. Let's switch it over to the 30-minute time frame. These are really great shorts. I called it. Look at this bear flag. Oh, my Lord. Right up into the negative MACDs. Beautiful short pattern right there. Also, let's look at Palantir here, PLTR. Very weak here. Very weak. I don't know what's going on with my chart. Let me see here. Okay, here's Palantir. So Palantir reverses. You can see the 30-minute time frame right here is negative here from yesterday. You can see the 14th, and then you can see how the 60-minute time frame on Palantir reverses to sell right here. That was on the 14th yesterday. So we were already in a negative trend. So what do we look to do? We look to short what? We look to short the bounces on the 15. Look at this beautiful bear flag. I caught this beautiful bear flag this morning here off the 15. Get pushing up off the lows here. The lows 73.88 pushes up about more than 5 points. Beautiful bear flag, negative MACD, gets cabooshed. But then here's the trade right here, getting overbought into the negative MACDs, 177.97 Palantir. Okay, drops roughly about $1.20. It was really slow here today. I have to tell you, there was times the S&P futures or not even moving here. This is the big trade of the day here, the QQQs. You can see the QQQs reversing to sell on the 30-minute time frame with the MACD negative above the pivot. You can see it here, blue over yellow. And then this is the bear flag we got short on. Everything was set up, pushed up into the negative MACD. And then what we did, we waited patiently around the 145, 2 o'clock time period, 2:15. The Qs pushed up here above the 578, and then you can see the drop here of about $2 here. So basically, that strategy right there is after the 30-minute time frame reversing to sell, it pushed up on the 15 and the 30-minute time frame. You can see the bear flag here, the overbought condition on the 30, right into the 10 bar, negative all way. And I'll tell you, that was a great short there. I'm going to just show you UNH here, a big sell divergence on UNH. Once the 5-minute MACDs went negative here, you see the new high here, 310.30. Well, that was a short right there. And then look at it drop. So basically, you can have, even in a buy, in a positive trend, you can have sell divergences. And that's exactly what happened here. You have the new highs, and you're making the MACDs on the 5-minute time frame are not confirming the high. So that's a very negative. That's a negative divergence in a positive trend here. And if you look here on the 15-minute time frame on UNH, we really didn't. You can see the big MACD positive here. You don't really want to short the market when it's like that. You really like to say when the MACD start turning negative on the 15 and the 5 like that, that's when you can start attacking the shorts, when these MACDs start turning negative in a positive trend, okay? Really powerful there. And also you can see how the MACD just can, push down here, and it didn't confirm any new highs here. What else here we're looking at? I'm going to show you oil. Again, it's just a pattern. It's just a pattern, especially if you're not trading oil, that's fine. Okay, if you look at the USOs here on the, let's go to 15 and let's go to the 30. Okay, now again, if you're trading oil, okay, you can see at 12:30 today that the 15-minute time frame reversed to sell with the MACD negative above the pivot. And what do you look to do? You short the first bounce on the 15 right here, 73. Boom, oil dropped 80 cents there. Now, that's a sell divergence. Then watch this. So that happened at exactly here at 12:30. And if you look here on oil on the 60-minute time frame, the 60-minute time frame reverses to sell. Okay, at here it is now. Sorry about that. It's using a tick bar. I have no idea why I did that. Here's a 60-minute time frame reversing to sell, and it correlates. And the strategy is now we're in a negative trend. And what do you look to do? You take the sequence, which is the first bounce on the 5-minute time frame. You can see here oil push up to 72.75 and then dropped about 34 cents. So a really great short there. A really great short there on that's the sequence. When you get the 60-minute reversing to sell and it correlates with the 30 and the 15-minute time frame, then you look to short the first bounce on the 5-minute time frame. All right. Let me see what else I'm looking at here. Gold really did not act well at points today, even though the 30 and the 60-minute time frames were bearish. Bitcoin, phenomenal patterns in Bitcoin. Bitcoin was in a sell disconnect. The 30 and the 60-minute time frames were bearish, and I'll show you. Really great pattern here in Bitcoin here. You can see Bitcoin on the 30-minute time frame and the 60. You can see the drop here. The 30 reverses to sell. All right, and look at this beautiful short here, 117,009 and change. And you can see the drop here of 1,000 points. This is a monster strategy. Overbought into the negative MACD on Bitcoin. And if you want to look also at the market, you can also look at the IBIT. And that is also an opportunity to trade the market in a way that gives you the ability to look at the underlying ETF, especially during the US session. But Bitcoin and IBIT, they're brother and sister. Again, you can trade Bitcoin at night because obviously the IBIT does not trade after 4 o'clock. All right. Palantir, great short today on the 15. Tesla. So Tesla and Palantir are set up to short on the 15-minute time frame that I showed you at around 2 o'clock. And again, like I said, there really wasn't a lot here to show you. Coinbase still in a negative trend on the 60. So here on Coinbase, this is a really great pattern here. The 60-minute time frame reversed to sell on Coinbase right here. Okay, and what do you look to do? You short the first bounce on the 15-minute time frame. It correlated, and here's the short. It didn't really do much, 120. It dropped about 3. I mean, it's still good, though. But look at Coinbase. The 60 reverses to sell. It correlates with the 30 and the 15-minute time frame, and then you short the first bounce here on Coinbase. All right. Other than that, like I said, the Qs were good today here. A lot of it was just very selective. But again, the community of traders did really well. Last one, but not least, is the IWMs here. You can see the Russell reversing to sell here yesterday, and then the 15-minute time frame on the Russell today reverses to sell, which put you into what's called a negative trend, really negative trend now. The 15 and the 30 and the 60-minute time frames are negative. And what do you look to do? You short the bounce here on the 15. You could have shorted this thing all the way up here to 50, and then it drops here. It drops about 60 cents from the high if you were short. And then at the end of the day, I know it's late, but I'm just going to show you the pattern. This is called a double red short. A double red short means the 5-minute time frame reverses to sell. It correlates with the 15, the 30, and the 60-minute time frame. You got the 5-minute reversing here to sell. You short the first bounce here if you were trading 227.36 if you will get to, and then you can see the drop of about 35-40 cents. It really wasn't much to talk about today here. But again, the patterns were there. The trades were there. And again, great trades. There are some great trades in Avago. AMD was a great pattern on a negative trend here for shorts. But again, Friday in the summer, in August, we were watching paint dry for about many, many hours, and people were just bored. We were talking about other things. And then really, you know what? There's an old saying, you don't force it, right? You don't force it. So the morning was good at great activity. Great shorts in Apple on the opening, Meta on the sell divergences, and Tesla, which I showed you. But again, really, to tell you the truth, you take what the market gives you and you wait patiently for the patterns to set up. Patience is one of my 5 keywords. All right, when I get back, I'll tell you what I expect for Monday. Okay, for Monday, there's no 8:30 number, so a lot of people will be trading the pre-market, and you have a Home Builders Confidence Index number at 10 o'clock. Not really such a big number. And I'm looking at the week. Wednesday, we have the FOMC minutes. And then Thursday, we have really nothing. So we really already had the big one. We had the employment number the week before 4. And then we had the CPI, PPI, and retail sales. So we'll start kicking it off probably in early September when everything starts all over again. And so basically for Monday, we're going to see if these 60-minute time frames are going to hold up. Big numbers to watch. Spiders, 640.57. 640.57. We're 643.99. So basically, we're about 25 points on the S&P. Brings it down to the 64.40 level. You take that out, the 60-minute time frame will reverse the sell on the spiders. Now, the Russell is a negative trend on the 15, 30, and 60, and the Qs are negative on the 15 and the 30 on indicator 4. However, if you look here, 576.09 is where the 60-minute time frame reverses to sell. And guess what? We are about $1.15 away from that. So that's really nothing that's 50 points on the NASDAQ. So I guess we'll wait to see if the Qs reverse to sell. It's just a matter of time. You got the Russell in sell mode, the Qs will be in sell mode, and or you'll see the spiders eventually go into sell mode. I want to show you this one pattern here on the spiders today. And I said last night on the bull, the bear, and the ugly, I said if you do get any push up tomorrow, which we did, right, that the negative MACDs on the 30 and the 60 are going to pretty much halt the market. And that's exactly what happened here. You can see this beautiful bear flag here on the 30 and on the 60-minute time frame. So really the market had a lot of fits here. And also, if you bring up the index futures, the S&P futures here, you can see the beautiful bear flag here. Right here when the S&Ps were trading 85, they dropped 17. Look at the negative MACDs here. So a lot of times, like I said, and you can see how the S&Ps actually had a disconnect here, right? The S&Ps are negative on the 30 and 60-minute time frame, okay? But the spiders are still bullish on the 30 and 60, right? So this time I was using more of the NASDAQ, the Qs, to look for direction on the S&P, but also the spiders on the S&P futures on the 30 and 60. So it's when you get something like this, you look at the pattern, you say to yourself, okay, the spiders, you have negative MACDs on the 30 and 60-minute time frame. The S&P futures indicator 4, you're negative on the 30 and 60, and the MACD's negative. I'm going with the shorts on the S&P futures on the 30 and 60-minute time frame. This is beautiful patterns here. But again, you have a disconnect. Like I said, the spiders are still bullish on the 30 and 60, and the S&P futures went into sell mode on the 30 and 60 on indicator 4. So that's why I have my charts up. Gives me the ability to see everything and then be able to disseminate to everybody and teach you these strategies and the patterns, because when you're trading the S&P futures, it's very important to look at the underlying ETFs and especially in the U.S. session. All right. Okay. So again, let's see if these 60s hold up on Monday. If we do get any overbought conditions, those 60-minute negative MACDs are still going to be an issue. I think the market is making a top here, and I think we're heading lower in the next several weeks. With that being said, I will tell you when I get back about our Asian offer, meaning we have a Tokyo Tuesday night, and we're going to be doing it live every Tuesday from 8 to 10, so I'd like to talk to more about it. Okay, so by popular demand, believe it or not, so many people asked me to do a session and I've been doing live ones for free. And last Tuesday, we had over 5,500 people attend. And with that being said, we decided to come out with a product from 8 to 10 every Tuesday night, the Tokyo session. But the one thing I want to share with you, and the code is Tokyo 2 plus 1. Tokyo 2 plus 1, meaning you get 3 months, 1 month free out of the 3. And it's a great offer. And one of the things I want to teach you all is the fact that during that session, the margin activity is staggering. It goes up significantly, right? So basically, what happens is that the margin goes higher, okay? Because a lot of member firms want their margins higher. Last night, I think TradeStation for gold was or S&Ps was $22,000. Normally, it's $1,000 during the U.S. session. So what do most people do? They go right to prop trading firms where there's no margin activity. You could look up the Legends Trading. If you use the code SK, you get 80% off. Or if you use My Funded Futures, you get 10% off either by using, again, code SK on either one of them. I know the owners, they're great people, and I'm telling you, they're great prop firms. So a lot of people have been asking me about that. Also, this Tuesday night, like I said, from 8 to 10, there'll be an ongoing product. I love doing it. Sometimes it's slow. Last night, the S&Ps were absolutely crazy. Most nights it's gold, but gold really leads a lot with the volatility, and then sometimes the S&Ps. But last night was the inverse. The S&Ps were really flying around, and gold was like but that's what happens. You never know. But it's a great session. There's a lot of people who are trading love that session. They make their, potentially if you can make it $300-500. One person made $1,500 last Tuesday. Another person a couple of nights ago made $2,400. So it's a really great session. So again, if you'd like to join me on that, the code on SK Trading is Tokyo2+1. And with that being said, I'm exhausted. It's a long week. I'm tired. Had a good week here. Our community of traders had a great week. Thank you for joining me on the Bull, the Bear, and the Ugly. Please hit the subscribe button. Leave a comment. Also, if you'd like to join my community of traders from around the world, please join me at sktrading.live. If you'd like to follow me on social media, at official, Stephen Kalayjian on X, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. If you'd like to reach out to me, you can text me at 914-500-7484. With that being said, have a great weekend. Enjoy every second. God bless you. And most of all, God bless the United States of America. Be well, everybody.
Thanks for tuning in to the Bull, the Bear, and the Ugly podcast, your no-nonsense guide to the markets. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe at sktrading.live or on your favorite podcast platform. We'd love for you to rate, review, and join our community for more real talk and market insights. Until next time, keep trading and stay sharp.